Okay, so start. Hi, and welcome to your College Ready Taster session for Business Studies. In this presentation, we're going to look at some of your study programme. My name's Karen Preston, and I'm one of the business tutors. And you'll also be getting a presentation from Julie Concliffe. This short presentation is about marketing. So we're going to look at the role of music in marketing. For most people, music is a part of everyday life. Music has the ability to connect people, and it has the power to make us feel a certain way. Similar to smell, music can trigger memories. Using music in advertising can trigger emotional connections with customers, and it has the ability to create a relationship with a brand. Just want you to take a minute and think about what is your happy song? What music makes you feel happy? So this presentation is an introduction to the marketing unit. We'll be looking at what the term marketing means, marketing concepts, marketing techniques, marketing principles, and branding. So what do you think the term marketing means? See if you can write a definition of the term marketing. So marketing involves identifying the needs, the wants, the expectations of current and potential customers and providing goods and services that meet these needs in a profitable way for a business. There are three main marketing concepts. The production concept. So this assumes customers will prefer products that are widely available and inexpensive. An example of this could be a supermarket such as Aldi or Lidl. The sales concept, also known as the hard sell. It does not matter if the product is actually needed, the focus is on the sales. So a good example of this in recent years has been the PPI. The marketing concept is the most widely used concept. It puts the customer at the centre of all decisions. So the companies will actually carry out research on what the needs are of the customers and make their decisions on what to market, what to produce and sell to meet these needs. And they are the three main marketing concepts. So what I want you to do now is think about what concept best describes each of these activities. So products are widely available and inexpensive. Which concept do you think that applies to? Second one, known as the hard sell. It does not matter if the product is actually needed, the focus is on getting the sale. The customer is at the centre of all decisions. Companies research those needs and make decisions to try and meet those needs. Okay, so here's the answer. See how well you did. So the first one was production concept, the second one was the sales concept, and the third one was the marketing concept. We're now going to look at different marketing techniques. So there's a growth strategy. So Ansoff developed descriptions of different strategies for growing a business in 1957, and these strategies are still used today. He identified four main categories for growth, so four main ways that a business could expand. These are market penetration, market development, product development, and diversification. So let's have a look at each one. Market penetration. The market is a group of people who may buy your product. You could grow your business by increasing the number of people in the market who bought your product. We've then got market development. So this is when a company markets an existing product to a market. Nothing about the product has changed. It's just being sold to a new market. Product development. So this is where a business develops a new product but sells it to their existing customers. Diversification is where a business markets new products to new customers, and all of these techniques would help a business to grow and therefore become more profitable. So another quick activity for you to have a look at. Can you give an example for each type of market penetration? So market development, market penetration, product development, and diversification. Okay, we're now going to look at the principles of marketing. So the marketing principles are also known as the marketing mix. It's a framework that's developed for marketing plans, and it's used by businesses worldwide. The idea is to consider when marketing a product. No one element of the mix is more important than the other. They all support each other. Businesses modify each element in that marketing mix to establish an overall brand image and a unique selling point that might make their goods stand out from the competition. The marketing mix for physical goods, generally accepted as being made up of 4 parts, commonly known in marketing as the 4 Ps. So they are product, price, promotion, and place. So the idea being that if you have the right product at the right price, promote it in the right way, and sell it in the right place, you should be successful and be able to launch a profitable product. So let's look at those principles in a little bit more detail. So product. A product is something that can be offered to a market to satisfy a want or a need. It can be physical goods, it could be a service, an experience, events, persons, places, properties, organisations, information and ideas. It doesn't always have to be a physical product. So it's a combination of goods and services that are offered to a target consumer. The price. The price is the amount of money consumers have to pay to acquire the product. The right price is really important to create the right image for the product. If it's too cheap, people might think it's of low quality, and if it's too expensive, people might not buy the product. The place. So the place describes where and how the consumer can obtain the product. Nowadays, this could be a physical location in a shop, or quite often it could be online, or a combination of both. Finally, promotion. So promotion describes the activities undertaken to ensure the consumer knows about the product and its capabilities. It usually combines advertising, sales promotion, public relations, and personal selling. So this is the marketing plan that the company would put into place to actually promote and get the knowledge of that product out to the customers. We're now going to look at promoting a brand. So market leadership. Market leadership is the position of a business with the largest market share in a given market for goods and services. Market share may be measured by either the volume of goods sold or the volume of goods, or the value of goods sold. So if we think about, for example, mobile phones, I'm sure you can instantly think about 2 companies that have market leadership in the mobile phone sales. Okay, so for activity 5, this is something that you could go away and do in your own time. Think about developing a new product. Have you got an idea for a product? What is that product? What price would you charge? The place, where would you sell it? Could you sell it online, or would you have a physical shop? And what promotion methods would you use to get the knowledge of that product out to customers? Finally, brand awareness. So brand awareness is the extent to which a brand is recognised by potential customers. It's associated with a particular product. And this is what, in marketing, we're aiming to do. We're aiming to raise brand awareness because this will raise sales because our customers will seek out that brand. So if you think about trainers, what brand would you automatically think of? This is known as brand awareness. So branding, the entire process involved in creating a unique name and image for a product in the customer's mind through advertising campaigns with a consistent theme. So a brand, it can be a strategy, a perception for the customer, a logo. The company itself is the brand. It has its own personality, a vision, an identity, or an image. And this is very, very important to how your product could be perceived by the consumer. There's a slide that you can just look at in more detail that talks about the personality of a brand. So the sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, and ruggedness. Right, thank you very much. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Julie Condliffe, who's going to talk to you about law. If you just bear with me a moment while we swap over. Thank you, and I'm now going to hand you over to Julie.
Hello everyone, my name is Julie Condliffe. I'm one of the tutors on the Business and Law programme. My short presentation is going to be an introduction to law. Thank you, Karen. So, as part of the Business and Law qualification, you will study 6 mandatory units on law. What I'm going to talk about today is how law is made, and I'm just going to pick two areas because there are others. One is legislation and one is common law. So, legislation. What I want you to do is put your virtual hands up, and I'd like you to tell me what you think legislation actually means. Thank you, Karen. So what is legislation? So legislation are the laws and rules made by the government. Now, can you think of a recent made legislation? If you think about what's going on right now, what we've all been going through, can you think of something recent? So one of the most recent legislations at the moment is the Coronavirus Act 2020. And that particular act is being pushed through very, very quickly because of what's been going on. Usually, to make legislation, it can take quite a long time. There are 2 types of bills. So legislation starts off as a bill. A public bill is a proposed bill that affects the whole of the public, like the coronavirus. A private bill is only of interest to a particular body or group, like a business. So, Parliament is where these bills are made. Parliament is made up of the House of Commons, where MPs sit, and you may be quite familiar with the picture there of our Prime Minister. I'm sure you've seen a lot of him in recent months. The House of Lords, where elected peers sit, like Lord Sugar. If anybody's familiar with The Apprentice, you'll know about Lord Sugar, and the Queen. So that basically makes up Parliament. So, proposing a bill, which is the beginning of a legislation. So a member of the House of Commons, so that's somebody like Boris Johnson or any MP in the member of the House of Commons, can propose a bill, as can a member of the House of Lords. As mentioned earlier, there are two types of bills: private, which is relating to individuals, or public, which is relating to the whole of society. So a public bill. A public bill can start in your community and can be presented by your local MP. So you could have an idea for a new law that you would like to be passed, and you could start up a petition for that law. It's obviously a bit more complicated than that, but these are basic principles. So you would need a petition of approximately 100,000 signatures before the proposal would be taken to Parliament. Can you think of something you would like to become law? You would like to get that stamp saying this is an act. Racial justice is a good example, particularly in the current climate. Now, the basic process of passing an act in Parliament is quite lengthy, and I've put this little diagram on slide for you, which you can look at, within your leisure. But if you look, there are 3 stages and other stages as well that start off looking at how a bill is actually produced. So we've got the House of Commons. They will look at the bill. They will go through all these procedures, and then they will hand it over to the House of Lords, who will do exactly the same thing. There then may be some dispute regarding one thing or another. So that bill may get passed back to the House of Commons, back to the House of Lords again, back and forth, until both houses are happy with the outcome. Once they're happy with the outcome, the bill will then go for royal assent, so it will then go to the Queen, and she will give it that stamp that makes it into law. Now, as a task, maybe you could do over summer, you could do a poster or you could do a document, and you can bring it into college with you when you come to college. Can you prepare and explain the process of events that you would make your bill law? So, we're now going to talk about common law. What is common law? Also known as case law or precedent. Common law has been developed by judges and courts over the years. The judges are free to interpret the law, and this becomes the new standard. So it's more about looking at individual cases, which are not criminal cases, or sometimes they might end up being criminal cases, but they are potentially common law cases. An example of a very, very famous common law case is Donohoe versus Stevenson. Now, there's a link there that you can actually go on in your own time, and you can watch a little YouTube clip regarding this case. Basically speaking, Mrs. Donohoe, so we're going back to 1931 now, you can see how old this law is, and or this case is, should I say, and lots of cases are very, very old. Mrs. Donohoe went into a restaurant, she bought some ice cream, and as part of her ice cream treat, she ordered a bottle of ginger beer, and she started pouring the ginger beer onto her ice cream. And so far, so good. She was really enjoying her sweet. The bottle of ginger beer was produced by a company called Stevenson. Okay, and as she poured her ginger beer out popped a slug, which had been fermenting in the ginger beer. She obviously she stopped eating her ice cream at that point, but then developed chronic pains in her stomach. She then thought, okay, I'm going to take this case to court, which is what she did. The case went to the local court. It ended up in the House of Lords in 1932, and Lord Buckmaster and Lord Aiken decided that she deserved compensation because she'd ended up with gastroenteritis, which is a stomach bug. Now, this had never ever happened before. Next slide, please. So, Mrs. Donohoe bought an ice cream, poured ginger beer on it, out popped a cut slug. She ended up with severe chronic pains in her stomach. She decided to sue the manufacturer, who was Stevenson. She took the case to court. It went through a series of courts until it ended up in the House of Lords. The judges at the time decided, yes, she had a case. Even though there was no contract between her and the Stevenson company, she had a case, and they introduced the concept of duty of care, which is taught, which is another, we'll talk about another time, in common law. So that meant judges moving forward that tried similar cases could look back on this case and use that as an example to win a future case. So, conversely, criminal law is to solve disputes and protect the innocent. Without this law, we would be in chaos. Criminal law deals with behaviour which is threatening against public society or the state. Can you think of any examples of criminal acts? So there we are, we've got murder, assault, rape, robbery, burglary, arson, hate crimes. These are all against the state. These are all tried in a criminal court. So, common law deals with civil disputes, such as money disputes, damages to property, family law, somebody getting hurt, as in the case of Mrs. Donohoe. This is the court process. So you'll see down the left-hand side we've got the criminal law process, and you'll see down the right-hand side we've got the civil law process. Both cases will start in either the Magistrates' Court or the County Court, and they'll work their way up to Crown Court, Court of Appeal in the criminal sector, and High Court of Justice or Court of Appeal in the civil sector. And that ends my presentation, my short presentation on how law is made. So we hope you've enjoyed the session and that it's given you a good idea of your study programme starting in September. Don't forget to visit with the sections of the College Ready programme on the website, including the transition sheets for business and law, as these will also help you prepare for a great start to your life at college when you join us after the summer. Good luck, and we look forward to seeing you soon.